Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Okay. I can't even pronounce it. Hey, Lucille. Yellowing Alfaro. Thank you. Hey, G. Hello. Yeah, Chi, I actually saw that email, which reminded me I was supposed to be in here doing the live stream. Hey, Hart and Jen. Nice Sunday to you as well. That's right. Thumbs up. Hit that like button. Hey, good morning, Steve. All right, guys, so this morning we're going to be talking about date in Asia. And we can chat about our experiences with that website. Hey, Lucille. Yeah, well, it's glad to see you. I'm glad you joined us. We shine. Good to have you with us, bud. Yeah, so this morning we're going to be talking about date in Asia. That's right. What do you like? What do you don't like? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was an old movie by Clint Eastwood. So I just stole the title from that. Put yourself in my position. I got to think about all this crap, Anyway. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the dating site? in this modern world that we live in, where we're all connected with these computers and cell phones, um, it kind of makes sense. It's a lot easier to meet people, and you get out there on the internet, and the websites. Everybody posts a profile with some pictures, and you can see what they look like, and vice versa. They can see what you look like, and it's a pretty easy way to meet people. But a couple of things to keep in mind is you are looking at images on a computer screen and not a real person standing across from you. And because of that, there are a lot of fraudsters that take advantage of that. We've talked before about some of the frauds that are perpetrated by guys in, say, Africa, and it's a guy, and he puts up pictures of a girl, and he cons a man, a Western guy, into sending money to him. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff that goes on as well. I haven't been seeing very much of it on Date in Asia. It might be because I'm tuned into that stuff, so I know what to look for. And I think later, either in a video or a previous live stream, I talked about doing the Google reverse image search, right? So if you see an image, I think if you're on your phone, if you tap and hold the image, one of the options will pop up to do an image search. And it'll go search on Google and return to you images that are like that, Yeah, that's what I mean. They're fake sites, Lucille. They're being run by people who are trying to scam other people out of money. And Asian dating, Asian dating is where I met Vivian, Steve. The one thing about the dating sites is that you got to go through a lot of profiles. I mean, you're just going to go through a lot of them. It's going to take time to find the right person that is a real person. And then after you've done that, then you can, go meet this person for real, in real. Like Filipinos are fond of saying, in real. So yeah, meet her in person for real, and then you can take it from there. But yeah, I've been fortunate, and like I said, a lot of it is knowing what to look out for in terms of the scams and stuff. Hey, Melinda. Well, welcome. Good to have you here. Yeah, I have a profile on Date in Asia, and I've met some people that I like there, and it all the Date in Asia, all the websites are really just a place to get a conversation started, and then once you're talking to someone and it seems like they're nice and you like them, and then you can move on from there. Then you want to go meet in person for real. That's the next step. But it does take some time to weed out. I mean, there's a lot of profiles on there, and you have to weed through them all. There are also a lot of people there that are, they're just bullshitters, for lack of a better way to say it. They're just, they're just making stuff up, and they're not for real, or they have no real intention of getting on a plane and going to the Philippines to meet somebody. There are people that play around like that. And there are also guys that are players that are trying to line up, 2 or 3 girls, in one trip and that kind of stuff. So you gotta look out for those things. And yeah, so a lot of scammers on Date in Asia. I haven't really run across any. run across a few lady boys, but that's not my type. But you know uh, the gay community thing years ago was all pretty hush hush, you know, and but as the years went by, it became more and more acceptable, and you know, I personally don't care one bit, but I've noticed that a lot of the ladyboys in their profile on, you know, they'll say that they're a ladyboy that way, and that makes sense because why would you want to mess around? I mean, you want to find a small. If you're a ladyboy, you're looking for a small percentage of the population that's gay, you know, and so otherwise, you know, it's deceitful, and you end up in that situation. There was a story not too long ago, maybe a couple of years ago, of a Marine in the Philippines that ended up with a ladyboy, thinking that it was a real woman, and he ended up killing her. So it can be dangerous for the ladyboy as well, you know. So, hey, Relinda, yeah, I found some prospects. I wouldn't say, I mean, I haven't met in person, so until that happens, it's only a prospect, you know. Yeah, I don't know, Lucille, how hard, it's difficult to qualify how many of them are scammers. I don't think I have not encountered very many scammers. Hey, Arella, welcome aboard. It's nice to have you here. Yeah, well, you know, Mindanao, thanks, Chi. And Mindanao has, from the, because of Marawi, um, you know, that news of that insurgency there in Marawi went worldwide. It was on all the news. And so a Western person is going to think twice about Mindanao because of what happened there. And, you know, um, you know, me, because I have a little more knowledge of the Philippines, know that there are places like CDO and Davao that are safe places to travel. You can go there and it's not a problem. But to the average Westerner, looking at the big picture, they're just going to say, "Oh, Mindanao, you know, no need to go there." So some of it maybe that you just need to educate the people you're chatting with too. No, Relinda, I haven't met anybody in person yet since Rose, and because I've been here in the States, I came back in December, and I'm hoping I can get back to the Philippines again in May. I'm shooting for that. And I know I've discussed this before, but you know, you have to raise the money. I have to save up the money to be able to make the trip. But I love to visit there. I have friends and family in Cebu, and you know, hopefully I'll have somebody to meet up with. Yeah, you know, some people say it's unsafe to travel there. I think going to CDO. I mean, I love to go to Siargao. It's a place I went fishing, which is, you know, just the next island north of Mindanao. Um, it was very lovely, and I didn't feel threatened at all, not at all. Yeah, I would. You know, you got to know where you're going in Mindanao. Ah, yeah, only the brave and adventurous, huh? Yeah, so you know the whole dating thing um, on the sites is a place to chat and get to know somebody. Ultimately, though, the goal is to go meet them in person. I mean, because you're not going to know anything until you do that, and then it's going to take a fair amount of time. I mean, I don't know if Tom's on here right now or not, but he had mentioned that psychiatrists say it takes 2 years to really get to know somebody. So, yeah, I haven't heard about the bombing in Jolo. Oh, in Sulu. Yeah. Well, Sulu's a pretty active place for the insurgents. Thanks, Relinda. Yeah, you too. Yeah, it is, Brian. Just certain areas. I'm convinced of that. Is that on the north and east side of Mindanao? That seems pretty nice. And Davao City. I mean, you're not going to have any trouble down there either. There's another YouTuber down there. What's his channel called? The Philippines Experience, I think. He's down in General Santos, that area. You know, he seems fine. You know. Yeah, gee, I mean, it is. If you've never been there before, it takes a while to get to learn the lay of the land. You know. Good night, Relinda. Sleep well. Yeah, that's an interesting one, Hart and Jen. My sister-in-law actually had a situation like that. I forget what the details were because she was telling it to me secondhand, but basically, the guy was saying he was at the airport, but he didn't have the money. He needed her to bring him money, and um, she has a job and makes money, and she was asking me and Vivian whether she should do it or not, and I'm like, no. I mean, if he's a Western guy, an American or Australian or whatever, is going to travel to the Philippines, he's going to have enough money to get through the airport. Okay. I mean, it's just ridiculous. If he doesn't, he's got no business traveling there. I mean, let's face it, it takes a small amount of money. It's not a lot, but I usually plan on having 2 to 3 thousand US dollars. That's what it's going to cost me for a trip because it cost 1,000 just for the airfare. And then, I like to have money in the bank so I can use the ATM card and I'll carry some cash with me. So, and I'm nothing special. I'm just a regular old guy. I work for a living like everybody else. And so, these kind of unusual stories that you hear are usually probably a bunch of bull, to be honest with you. So you're right, Hart and Jen. You got to be careful. Thunder GT, hello. Welcome aboard. Good to have you with us. Hey, Jazzy, good morning to you. Yeah, a cup of coffee sounds good. I haven't had a cup of coffee yet this morning. Hey, Amy, hello to you. Joy Bell, hello to you. Good to have you with us. Yeah, yeah. He doesn't have a passport. Yeah. So, but when you're chatting, you kind of got to be feeling out these things. What is this person's situation? Do they have a job? Do they make money? Have they traveled before? Somebody that's never been out of the country, you know, um, uh, they're not going to be an experienced traveler. So hey, Van Turner, man, what's up with you? Good to see you. Yeah, 100K a month. That's probably about right. Hey, Abul. Huh. I never heard about that, man. Abul says dating in Asia is specified a phone number. If you are live in Middle East, it was not approved. I don't ever remember putting a phone number in there. Maybe if you're doing it from your phone. I did mine on the computer. Hey, Lee. Good to see you. Lee in Tokyo. Good morning to you as well. I guess it's evening for you. Yeah, I'm having a blast, man. I'm having a blast. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Hey, Vivian, good to see you with us. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Vivian, it's all about the date site is just a place to meet and chat, and then arrange to meet this person for real. Um, that's all it really is. And so, um, but you got to weed through a lot of them. You got to weed through a lot of them. It's now you could probably be just as um, successful turning up, just turn up in Cebu or Manila or whatever, and go to the mall and start meeting people. Um, it's just a little easier to do that on the computer or your phone, before you ever leave. Yeah, I hear you, Chi. Um, yeah. The other thing I think happens to us is uh, we tend to be polite and we don't want to offend people. And sometimes the people, especially the scammers on the dating sites, can be really pushy. And so we tend to kind of just go along with it instead of just saying, "All right, that's enough of you. I'm gonna block you," or whatever. But sometimes you have to be a little cold, and you just have to. This person isn't right. They isn't working out. You don't have a good feeling about it. Just block them. Move on to the next one. You know. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can just show up there, and people, the Filipino people are so friendly. They'll talk to you all day long. So I offended everybody. Give me another beer. Give me another burger and a beer, and don't give me no shit, right? Yeah, well, everybody has their own thing. Yeah, there are other apps. There's Facebook. I mean, you can do it on Facebook as well. Uh, yeah, I don't know what restrictions the Middle East puts on that stuff. Yeah, Steve, that's a very good point. I like that. I can localize the search to whatever area. Like, if I know I'm going to Shargal, I can just look around Shargal, you know. So Mingle 2, I've not heard of that one. Mhm. Yeah, Date in Asia is free also. It doesn't cost anything. You just set up a profile and you can chat. So that's kind of cool. Some of the other ones, like I remember Asian dating where I met Vivian. I had to pay in order for I had to pay a monthly fee. I don't remember how much it was, but I had to pay. It was like $20, $19 or something a month in order to be able to message her. Now she was able to message me back for free, but I had to pay in order to send messages. Hey, Narissa from Baguio. good to see you. Welcome aboard. I haven't paid anything in Dayton, Asia, Van. Asian Dating, which was a different site, I did have to pay. Hey, Arella. Yeah, yeah. I need to come back to Philippines and relax. That's a good point. Yeah, and that's first I've heard of that, Abu. Um, but I guess I mean, I know China is very restrictive. They restrict everything, so you can't do much of anything there. And they even put I understand they're clamping down on VPNs there in China now also. Hey, Michael, Christian Filipina. Yeah, guy had to pay. Yeah, that's the way it was with Asian dating. Yeah, Van, I still haven't been to Manila. um, but, in my situation, I have family and everything in Cebu. So when I come over, I usually just fly straight to Cebu. I've found because of my work here in the States, well, and everywhere, I work in all over the world, but I find that I travel on Delta. I fly on Delta, and Delta's a partner with Korean Air, so I end up going to Incheon, and then Incheon has a flight directly to Cebu, so I usually end up on that one. Well, Steve, it was still worth it, right? Um, yeah, man, we got to go fishing. I was just talking about that. I want to go back to Siargao because right there off of Siargao is a deep trench called the Philippine Trench in the Philippine Sea, and really big fish are out there, man. I don't know if you saw the video I did of where I caught a really big mahi mahi. It was right out there on a boat, and fairly. I think it's 8,000 pesos to rent the boat for a day, which is not a bad price at all. Hey, Michael. Yeah, that's what I hear. I've just never been there. Maybe one day I'll make it there. Well, and they have a U.S. consulate in Cebu, so I've never had a need to go to Manila. Actually, Vivian had to go to Manila when she was immigrating because she had to go up there for her interview. But me personally, I've never been there. Yeah, Philippine Airlines had, as a matter of fact, Philippine Airlines used to have a flight directly from Cebu to Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, I when Vivian came over, that's the flight she was on. But they've since taken it down. I don't know if it's a seasonal thing. Depending on the season, maybe they put the flights on and take them off. I don't know. Yeah, Gulf of Mexico's good fishing there. Well, good night, Arella. You sleep well. Hey, Tom. Good to see you. Yeah, matter of fact, they just had a typhoon go through. It was a small one, what we would call a tropical storm, but it went through Siargao. Yeah. You're gonna get paid for fishing, huh? How the woman know that the guy has been interested with her? Well, yeah, I mean, if we're talking date in Asia or whatever, I mean, the fact that he's messaging you means he's interested, at least a little bit, you know. And then you can, you know, I mean, you can always just ask, you know, how serious are you? You know? Usually, I mean, you know, and it depends on the guy, but you know, that's the way it goes. Yeah, man, um, the big fish that I caught fishing in Siargao, and there's a video up about that. It's called a mahi mahi in English. That's what we call it. But in the Philippines, I believe they call it dorado. And I understand it's somewhat expensive to buy it in the Philippines, but it was sure fun to catch it. So it was yummy too. Yeah, well, gee, if somebody doesn't reply, then they're not interested. You know. To be completely honest with you, I do not reply um, quite often. Actually, there's a lot of you know because people just come by and say hi, and then I'll look at their profile and say, well, she's not for me. You know. So rather than lead her on, so to speak, I just don't reply. You know. And you might even you know put something in your profile that says matter of fact, I did. It says that you know, please don't be offended if I don't reply. It just means I'm not interested. You know, um, it's a big. It's kind of like fishing, right? I mean, guys, you know, there's all these profiles out there, and you're kind of sifting through them, and you're trying to, you know, you're trying to catch one. You know, you're only interested in catching one out of a, you know, however many million are up there. So well, it looks like me on there. I think the main picture might be a younger one of me, might be a few years old, but yeah, that's a good point, Steve. We've talked about that here before as well, but you know, the married girls, you know, if married or separated, which means they're still legally married. Um, a lot of the Western guys that are in the know don't want to get involved in that kind of a situation because, and I don't remember when, might have been the last live chat we did, but there are guys where there are situations where the husband will come back and want to blackmail the Western guy for money, which basically extort money from him because he can by law have both of you locked up for adultery. Collect and collect, then select. I like it, Anna. That's a good one. Yeah, definitely got to be careful with married women. Um, so yeah, I mean, those are things you want to look for. You want single women or widows. You know. Thank you, Hart and Jen. Good night. You guys sleep well? Yeah, widowed is okay, Lucille. That's Vivian was a widow when I met her. Yep, that's right. She, unless she's had an annulment or her husband has passed away in the Philippines, she's still married. So that makes the situation, a little dicey in the sense that if the husband comes back on the scene or if he's around and knows what's going on, then he could have both the woman and her Western boyfriend arrested for adultery. There was a video on, oh man, I can't remember the name of it. We talked about this before, but there was a video. It was a guy from England. He and his Filipina girlfriend and her son from the previous marriage, and the guy showed up with the cops to arrest him and did arrest him. They finally were able to get themselves out of jail on bail and fled the country, so. Okay, yeah. Well, now that you're annulled, you should be clear, so you won't have any legal responsibility to them. But yeah, and yeah, so annulled is fine, but when you're still married, the risk that the husband could go back on the scene and have you two arrested is always there. So you got to really be careful with that. I have friends that are in that situation, and they are very careful. So yes, they can and they will arrest, especially if the husband, I don't know what it's called there, but I guess presses charges, so to speak. Then yeah, the couple will be arrested. So Vivian just. Hey, Vivian, thanks. I'm not really sure what that means, except that you had a bad experience in Puerto Rico. Curious, is that the name of the website? Curious? I'm not sure. Anyway. Yeah, so I guess in summary, the dating sites have some value. I mean, they're a place where people are, and if you're looking for someone, you can go there and meet someone, chat with them. But keep it in perspective. Nothing's for real until you meet in person, and that's got to happen before anything really solid is going to come of it. But it is a place to meet and see who's out there, begin a chat with them, and then if you really like that person, you can put together a plan to go meet them in person and take it from there. All right, guys. Well, this has been an interesting chat. We've been going on for a long time now, almost 40 minutes. So I am going to say goodbye and get the rest of my day going. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for coming and watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Give it a thumbs up. See you guys. Take care. Bye.